I'm going to talk a little bit about the what we call deadlines and milestones. This is everything that the bidders need to kind of keep in mind throughout the auction process. This is your to-do list. This is everything that happens in the order it happens. So on August 16th, we published the proposed sale notice that came with a 60-day comment period, and we're right about smack in the middle of that comment period now. So you see during this whole time, we're accepting and processing new company qualifications. And then September 20th, we'll continue to accept and process company qualifications up until the close of the comment period on October 17th. There'll be some time between that October 17th and January is what we're projecting right now, during which we need to kind of take the comments into account, see what needs to change, what updates we think are, the whole point of a public comment period is to get good suggestions from people who know and incorporate them where we can, and that's what we'll be doing during that period. And then we'll publish the final sale notice. That's really where all of the final sale details are included, including specific dates of when the sale will happen. Right now we're projecting that for March, although that's projection. Schedules sometimes move around, but right now our best guess is March. So during that time period, which you see up here, it says it's typically 45 days. It can be no less. It can be no less than 30, according to our regulations. So it'll be at least 30. Could be more. We aim for 45 days because there's really enough here that's happening that if we're going to put it into 30 days, it starts to feel tight. So during this period of time, which we call the waiting period between the FSN and the sale, we have the due date for the what we call the BFF, the Bidder's Financial Form, and that has information about who is authorized to bind the company in the sale, who we should send bidder authentication tokens to, so who we're expecting to participate in the sale. Sometime a couple weeks after that, the bid deposit will be due. $450,000 is our bid deposit per lease area. Here there's just one lease area, so it's $450,000. That money will come back to any bidders who don't win a lease. So this is really just, we're holding this to make sure that you're serious about this and it's a down payment on your bid in the event that you are the provisional winner. And then we'll hold a mock auction a few days before the actual sale. This is really brass tacks. It's not open to the public, it's open to the bidders, and it's really there for everyone to get familiarity with the auction software so they're not seeing it for the first time on auction day, but it's not something that we can make available to everybody. And then we hold the lease sale, and our current projection for that is in March. Okay, so this is on auction day, and this is kind of the steps to expect on auction day. You're going to see some screenshots, I think, or modified screenshots a little bit later with the Power Auctions presentation, but conceptually at least, login will be enabled somewhere, I think, around 8 in the morning. Then the first round will start sometime shortly after, maybe a half hour after that. The round opens. There's this period of time during which bidders can submit their bids, which is really just saying yes or no whether or not you're interested in the lease at the price that we announced. Right now, tentatively, the opening price would be $244,800, and that's where the bidding is starting. So we wouldn't accept any bids below that. The round closes after, I think it's 30 minutes for the first round, just while people are still getting used to what they're doing. And then we process the results for a few minutes to make sure all the bids are in, that all the information is clean, that we understand what we're looking at. And then we post certain information to the bidders. And the bidders get some information about how many people are still in the sale during the sale itself. So we post that information. We say in the last round we received so many live bids. And a live bid is a full price acceptance of the bid price. That would be the number of bidders who say, yes, I'm interested in the lease area at the price that you announced. If there are 2 or more people who are interested, bidders who are interested in the lease at the price that we've announced, then we'll continue for another round. We'll increase the price. The price increases are within our discretion. We have some internal guidelines that we use to decide how much to increase the prices. The goal is to not increase the prices by so little that the auction takes forever, but also not to blow past, everyone and raise it so much that everybody drops out at the same time. So that's kind of an internal discussion, but we'll post the next round's price. And then subsequent rounds after the first round, you'll see we have 10 to 20 minutes. The first round is longer because people are still getting used to things. As the rounds go by, the rounds shouldn't take as long, so we'll go quicker. Then, usually delayed by about a round or 2, we will post information to our website to the public, so people can follow along what's happening, and and so on and so forth. We'll raise the prices for as long as there are 2 or more bidders in the auction, and then once we have a round where there's 1 or 0 bidders, we know that's the end. That signals the end of the auction. Okay. Following the close of the auction, we stop posting stuff to posting results to our website, and we hold a press call and announce the provisional winner. And then that's still the day of the auction. And then, according to the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act, Part C, 1337C, we have the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission have 30 days in which to review the results of the sale for antitrust issues. Sometimes I think they do a market concentration analysis. If there were antitrust problems, after the end of that period, they send us a letter, and that letter historically it's been, a simple letter saying we found nothing of concern. Feel free to proceed. We refund the bid deposits to the non-winners of the lease sale. We may refund those bid deposits before the DOJ comment period, I think we do. But in any case, anyone who didn't win gets their bid deposit back. We send the lease to the winner. Once the winner receives the lease copies, they have 10 this is something to plan ahead for if you are the provisional winner, because this is a 10 business day time period in which you need to file your financial assurance, which often means a surety bond. You need to pay the balance of what you bid in the auction. We say the balance because, remember, your bid deposit is credited against the amount you bid, and you need to return the signed lease copies. And once the government receive those copies back, usually Jim will execute the lease on behalf of the government, and we have a lease. That is the process from basically here until the lease sale happens. And I can take questions now, or of course you can approach me afterwards.